Hello, welcome to lesson 9. And we're going to be working with files. Before we get to lesson 9 though, I want to go over last week's assignment. We're just going to do that first because we have a couple things to take care of in the assignment itself. So let's look at last time's assignment, and it was to write a code assigning one more user and their values, and then print their locker number using a print statement. So in the example, you were given John and Eric. So I added George and added his stats. And the locker stat is this one, 37. So if we print George locker, should print 37. So that's what your code should look like. If it isn't, or if it's just not working the way you expect it to, please reach out and we will get that taken care of. All right. Here we go. All right, we don't need that right now. Okay. So, and actually we don't need this one right this second. We want this, this. There we go. We'll put these over here. Okay. So we're going to be talking about working with files. So let's go ahead and go through this. All right. Opening files for reading. There are a couple ways to open a file for reading.
Is it possible to contact transportation about a phone that was not coming up? Yes, they just send it to the main office and I'll help you with the phone. It,
There are a couple ways to open a file for reading. The first way is to use the open function, and the other way uses open as well, but in a slightly different way. The open function takes two arguments. The first argument is the name of the file to open. The second argument is the mode in which the file should be opened. In this example, we are opening the file for reading, so we use the R mode. So open, let's say we have a groceries file, and I'm going to delete that because we will get to that in a minute. Okay, so in this example, open groceries file. I think we have a groceries list, and so it's going to open that groceries file, and it's going to put it in read mode. So all we've done is open the file. We haven't read anything from it yet. To do that, we need to use the read method. So the read method returns the contents of a file as a string. So we can put that in another variable. So read groceries text is going to be open groceries file dot read. In this particular case, it would be helpful to break the string up into a list. So we can do that by using the split method. It's good to know that if you had, let's say we had something on here like, let's say, oat milk, it would split oat and milk up into their own separate lists if you're using the split method. If you use split lines, it'll just split on the lines. So, all right. So, yep, we're taking groceries and we're saying we put it in another variable, and we say grocery list is going to be equal to read groceries text dot split. All right, and then we can finally do something with that list. We can print grocery list. So let's go ahead and uncomment some of this stuff. There we go. And there we go. It prints all the items as a list, which is exactly what we'd want to happen in this case. So, after doing what you need to do, you can close the file, and it's really good practice to get into closing your files when you're done with it. So, that would be like this. Nothing happens on the output, but it has gone ahead and closed that file, which is, yeah, you just want to do that every time you are done with a file. So, there we go. All right, another way you can open a file is to use the with statement, or with open. The with statement is a way to open a file and automatically close it when we're done with it. It is generally a good idea to use the with statement when working with files because it ensures that the file is closed even if an exception occurs. The with statement sort of works like an if statement. So we are using the a plus method, or we are opening the file in a plus, which is append, to open the file for appending and reading. This is because we want to add to the file, not overwrite it. If you want more information on the modes you can open a file in, you can look at this URL here. So let's take a look at this example. Okay, so we're saying with open groceries a plus, which is append and read mode. So we're going to open that and we're going to put it in a variable, and this variable is going to be as open grocery list. So in this case, let's say we want to read all the items in the list. We were going to want to move move the cursor to the beginning of the file, because append mode automatically puts it at the end of the file. So yeah, when you open it in append mode, it puts the cursor at the bottom. So we want it at the top so we can read it, and we're going to say grocery list 1 is equal to, so that's another variable, and that's going to be equal to open grocery list 1, and we're going to read it, and we're going to split it. Again, it would probably be better to use the split lines function here. So I'm going to go ahead and update that. Then we can print the grocery list. And then let's do this real quick and then run it. There we go. So if milk is not on the grocery list, we want to say open grocery list dot write, and because we're in append mode, it's going to add it at the end of the file. So we're going to say open grocery list dot write, and then put a new line, so /n for new line, and then the item that we're adding to the list. So in this case, it's going to be milk. So let's look at our groceries list. We only have 4 items in there right now, but if we go ahead and run this and look back now, we have milk added to the list. So you can also use the with statement to open a file for writing. When writing with the W mode, the file will be overwritten if it already exists. So let's take a look at this. So with open, fandoms is the name of the file, and we're going to open it in write mode, and we're going to put it in a variable as open fandoms. So let's take a look at the thing. We currently have Star Wars, Star Trek, and Spider-Man. And let's say we want to write these three fandoms instead. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we go ahead and run this, oh, it looks like I forgot to write this file. So, okay, this file is written. We have these three fandoms, but we want to switch it over to these other three. So we're going to run this file, and then now we should see, there we go. We have our three fandoms here. So that's all that we really need to do for working with files. This is a good starting point. I would take a look at this website for learning more about the modes that you can open a file in. But we're going to take what we've learned and we're going to put it in a file. And your file is currently blank in the assignment. So I want you to just follow along, and it shouldn't take too long. It's only 40 lines. So let's go ahead and we want to do this. All right, and we're gonna do that. There we go. Okay. So if you're ever going inside another folder, inside of a folder that you're in, you need to go down to the terminal and type in cd and the name of the folder. In this case, it will be popsicle sticks. So cd popsicle sticks, just like that. And now we're in this folder. So the terminal has to be in this folder in order to execute the file properly. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we're going to import random because we need that. Essentially what we're building here is a little program that will automatically call on or pick a student name from a list randomly, and so we can add them, and then you would save it to the already called file so you don't call the same student again until all students have been called. So this is very similar to using popsicle sticks in class. You would write the student names down on the popsicle sticks, stick them in a jar, and then you pick a popsicle stick at random and do that until you've gotten through all of the students. So yes, we need to import random. We need that library. And then we're going to create a function here. And I've used both methods of opening files in this file. So go ahead and you can do both if you'd like, or if you'd like to just go with one or the other, that's fine too. So we're opening two files. We have the student list, which has all the students in the class. And then we have already called, which is a list for where called students will go once they have been called. So yeah, we'll talk about that more in just a second. So here we're just reading the files. And here we're splitting every row into an item. So we're using split lines. If we just used split, it would split everything. So it would split in between their names, which is not what we want. So we're going to use split lines there. All right, so this randomly picks a student from the list. We just are doing a random.choice, and then we're feeding it the list, and it's picking an item from the list. So this checks if the student name is not in the already called list, and if not, it adds it to the already called list and prints out the name. So this is, yeah, if we get a name in here and it's not in the already called file, then go ahead and add it to the already called file and print out that name. So that will be our pick for that. So that's all done in an if statement here. We have an elif down here that is going to check if the student list and already called list are the same when sorted. So we're going to sort them and then compare them. And if they are the same, it's going to print out all the students that have been called. Or it'll print out that all students have been called, rather. So it'll say, so if elif sorted list, sorted already called is equal to sorted student list, print all students have been called, clearing file. And then we're going to say with open, already called, and then write. Remember when with write mode, we're overwriting the file. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to truncate that. That will just set everything to 0. And then we're going to print file cleared, choosing from list, and then we run pick list again. So that's if the already called list is full. That's what happens there. And then if the student name is already in the already called list, we're going to close the file and then call the function again. So elif popsicle stick is in already called. So if the student name is in already called, we're just going to close the student list raw file. It's a good idea to close your files after using them. Remember, when you use with like this, it automatically closes the file for you. But if you're using this method, just opening the file, then you do need to make sure to close the file when you're done. So that's all we're doing here, is we're just closing the file, and then we're saying run the program again, run the thing again. And so yeah, that is all that we need for this file, and this is actually our last lesson. So if you need help with this, let me know and I will give you assistance. And yeah, that's going to do it for this course. So thank you all so much for taking this course, and I hope we were able to learn some things together. So yeah, hope you have a good one. Talk to you later, everyone. Bye now.